right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back to the peninsulas.
Hey everyone. We are back for one of our weekend meetups where we're just gonna chat about farm life. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Chickens.
chickens.
But first, what kind of tea do you have, Laura?
I have Darjeeling tea.
Oh, fancy word.
I know. I actually did a little bit of research on it, um, just for fun facts, because I actually didn't know anything about Darjeeling tea other
All I know
than
is it tastes good.
yeah, I was gonna say other than I like it. But turns out it's from the Darjeeling or Kalimpong region of India.
Oh,
Yeah, and it grows in the foothills of the Himalayas, and it's harvested by just taking the top two leaves of the plant with a bud on each plant.
wow. Very intricate and fancy.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's funny. I have ginger and turmeric tea, which is
Mm.
the opposite of the bud. It's the bottom. Both of them are rhizomes. Uh, so yeah, got the two spectrums of the tea plant this lovely
Nice.
evening here. Um,
I've never tried ginger and turmeric tea.
oh, I like it. It's kind of spicy and gives you like a little, I don't know, it is very warming. I like it a lot. I used to drink it more often, but sometimes making tea feels like a lot of effort, so I don't do as much as I
True, but
used
it
to.
honestly takes less than five
It's
minutes,
so true. It's better. I mean, it's easier than coffee in reality, but
right?
yeah.
Or quicker, maybe. Speaking
Yeah.
of speaking of spiciness, in my little tea research session, I came across a word, muscatel. Have you ever heard of that?
No, sounds rat-esque.
Yeah. Well, they use it to refer to the taste of certain teas, Darjeeling being one.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, it just means like a musky spiciness.
interesting. I feel so much more educated now.
Yeah, me too.
I shall describe my turmeric ginger tea as very muscatel from now on. Oh,
Oh,
it's not musky at all, so maybe that's wrong.
you'll be quite posh if you.
I shall be in my slightly chipped mug here, in my I don't even know what its basic grayness, but
Yeah.
hopefully this ginger and turmeric tea will do what it's supposed to do. Because if you drink ginger turmeric tea regularly, it can help you with memory, which is
Oh,
important, and possibly attention, which we all know
oh,
I could use a little bit
definitely.
more of that. But yes, so yeah,
Nice.
that's some of the benefits of ginger turmeric, and then obviously the anti-inflammatory stuff and all the
Oh,
things that
sure.
everybody all knows about that. Ginger is good for your tummy kind of thing, but I just
Right.
like the flavor.
Nausea. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know if there are any medicinal properties per se for Darjeeling, but it is quite nice.
I mean, I feel like there's something. Relaxation, anti-stress.
hmm
Can't
Yep.
ever go wrong with that. All right. So, how are your chickens?
Oh man, they're freeloaders. I
Same.
haven't gotten a single egg this week.
Oh, really? On a whole week. I've had my chickens, I guess they're 2 months now, no eggs. Most expensive egg that was laid about 3 weeks ago. There was
Wow.
one.
Well, I think my chickens don't have any excuse because it's been 80 degrees outside. I know the days are shorter, and chickens don't want to lay once the days get shorter, which I guess is why some people put lights on their chickens. I've never done that, but they say it helps for the winter.
Yeah. I'm trying that with the quail. It's not working out super well. Not because of the quail, but because of the light being crappy Amazon light that I was hoping would work, but it doesn't work. Um,
So you just need a brighter light?
I think
Is
it
that
needs to be brighter and it needs to be consistent and there's no timer on it. And I'm thinking about putting the barn light on for our chickens to just kind of add some extra light, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
But they're unfortunately, I don't remember how old they are. So we bought these particular batch from the farm store as senior chicks, which because I wasn't thinking about it, I was like, I didn't ask how old they were, but they
Yeah.
were older than like the day old chicks that you always get.
Mm.
So they could have been anywhere probably from a week to a month old. I just
Yeah.
don't know. And so I don't know when they're supposed to start laying. Some of them feel a little bit thin because I've discovered that integrating chickens into new flocks is very difficult.
Oh my goodness. I've had the worst time. So the this isn't my original batch of chickens, but I have a batch of chickens that are going on 3 years old that I hatched myself. And then about 6 months later, I bought two um, Easter eggers because I had had some of them in the past and I really liked their personalities and they laid fun eggs color wise. Um, so I thought, well, these guys are only 6 months old. I'll add in some new ones once they're older. And that was almost 2 years ago, and I still can't get them integrated. I keep having to, like, I'll put them in with the flock, but they inevitably, even if it could be the same day or it could be a week later, but they'll try to kill them. And so I have to take them out. They're
Oh,
just brutal.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine aren't that bad, I guess.
Oh, well, that's good.
So I have the original older set that mom had given me.
Mhm.
There's three hens left, and then Clark, our rooster. And so I have a bunch of like random gangs of chickens that are
Yeah.
kind of wandering around. And then I have Broth, which we hatched, and he's the only one left from that batch.
So you
The
have
other
two
ones.
roosters.
So I have two roosters. I have Broth and Clark, and they're
Okay.
both really large roosters, and neither of them are super aggressive or mean. But they don't like each other, obviously. Um, but I think what happened that I did wrong was that when I got the second batch, I put them in the coop pretty early, and we don't have an enclosure. We have a chickshaw. So I just threw them in the chickshaw in the evening time, and then I let them out to more or less kind of free range,
Mm,
and then they just separated. So I
I
have
see.
one band of chickens with their rooster that just wanders around by themselves. So there's four of them. And then I have the other band that wanders somewhere else. And then when I try to put them in the barn together at night now, they don't like to be together.
Oh, yeah. So do
Clark
they
will chase them
bond with
out.
bedtime?
Yeah. So, and then I made another mistake of getting more chicks because of having the two roosters. I needed more hens
Mm,
because my children were attached. Just a side note for you guys that are watching, my children were attached to Broth and he was their first ever hatched chick
mhm.
and they had to keep him. So we needed more hens. Problem solved. So I've got another batch of six chicks.
Well, and if people don't know, a chickshaw is kind of a shelter for chickens on wheels that you can
Yes.
wheel around, like a rickshaw for people, but for chickens. Okay.
And hopefully that will be in the video somewhere, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyway,
cool. Oh,
yeah,
cool. Yeah. So you filmed
yeah,
that. That's very cool.
yeah. So it's supposed to house 30, but it houses four because the other ones don't like to go in there. But so
Hmm.
usually most people, when you're locking, they say chickens are easy, which they really truly are if you do it properly. So
Hmm.
my word of advice would be get all of your chickens all at one time. Just go for the 50. Don't even bother with 10. No, I'm just kidding. Get the amount that you think you're going to have for a solid 2 years
Hmm.
and go with those. So don't
Because when
start
they
off in
grow up
batches.
together, you really don't have very many problems.
No.
But if you try to add in some later, the older ones are just going to be brutal with the younger ones.
Yeah.
And they will get to where they just they can kill each other, but they'll definitely draw blood and things like that. It's just hard to watch. So
Yes. And it's the hens too. It's not just the roosters. The hens are more aggressive ones that I have are actually two of my older hens.
mhm.
One is a barred rock,
Ah,
good layers, highly aggressive. She will tear across the yard for no apparent reason, just to peck a chicken on its head. No idea why, but she just loves it. She also fights with the roosters, which is kind of funny to watch.
on the other hand, I've heard, I haven't experienced this, but I've heard that those more aggressive or forthcoming or outgoing breeds are um they'll protect each other too. Like if there's a predator, they tend to try to like fight off hawks and stuff. They probably won't win,
Yes,
but
possibly.
yeah.
Um, on a kind of a chicken side note, my mother has a hen that hatched out some chicks, and she has fought off a hawk multiple times.
Wow.
And she's called Fearless Betty at this point because she really wanted to keep those chicks, and she
That's interesting.
did. She managed. They
Yeah.
are well protected now.
Interestingly enough, so I have 12 chickens in my big coop, and then the two that I haven't been able to integrate are in their own coop across the yard. Um, but when I moved onto this property 3 years ago, uh, not long after, a wild rooster showed up. I still don't know where he came from. And he's a banny rooster. He's beautiful. He's all the different colors. And he's as sweet as he can be,
Hmm,
which you wouldn't think with
no.
the bannies. They tend to have a reputation for being mean, but he's not. He's really nice. But anyways, he decided that this is where he was supposed to live, and he's been here ever since. And for the first couple years, well, I'll get to the story about why this is, but I kept my chickens locked up and I never let them out. Um, and so he would go from coop to coop all day long, just kind of keeping an eye on them, but he was never in with them. But just recently, in the last 6 months, I started letting my hens out in the evenings for several hours so they can peck and scratch and whatever. And I had some concerns before I did that because I wasn't sure how he would act. I didn't want him to beat up on them. I didn't want them to beat up on him because he's smaller than all of them. He's a little guy. But they didn't even bat an eye. And I don't know if it's because they've seen him every day for their whole life, but he just integrated with them no problem. And then when it's time to go to bed, the hens go back in the coop and he goes back up in his tree. So it seems
That's so funny.
easier. I know, isn't it funny? I wasn't sure if maybe he would follow them in the coop, but he never has. Um, but it does seem easier to integrate maybe one rooster with a bunch of hens. If that's what you're trying to do later on, you might be able to do that better
Yeah.
rather than trying to integrate hens with hens.
Yeah. Yes, hens with hens are not working out well. Um, I really wanted to get some more chickens in the spring. I have a specific breed. I'm really interested in getting multiple specific breeds, but gotta gotta go slow. Actually, I should just buy them all at one time and call it a day. But we're not going to do that. That's not sage advice. Um, but I don't know if I will at this point because every evening has it turned into chicken wrangling. The four older chickens go in the chickshaw, which is parked in the barn currently, so that they're warmer in the evening times because it's dipping down into the mid to low 20s at night. And then the kind of what I call the middle-aged chickens will roost along the edge of the barn on a rail, which I then have to carry them into the chickshaw because even though they're in the barn, it's not predator proof.
Oh, yeah.
So I carry them every night. I think there's 11 of them.
Mhm.
And yeah. And then the small chickens that are about a month and a half to 2 months old now, they all fly out of their little coop area that I have constructed in the barn for them, and they roost on top of the quail pens. So then I
Oh,
have to take all of them down and put them in the small coop and it's just a chicken adventure. So
Mhm.
definitely get groups of chickens that don't need to be integrated, either that or just free range and hope for the best.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
which, speaking of free ranging, my chickens enjoy it. I've tried to re-lock them up, but they can fly, so they just fly right over the fence.
Mhm.
That is not working to keep them locked up. Um, it does cut back on your feed bill quite significantly in the summer.
That is true. I have noticed that
Yeah.
since I started letting them out in the evening, just even the 3 hours or so, um, they have not been eating as much
Yeah.
of the feed. I think it's also healthier for them to have, grasses, leaves, bugs,
Hmm.
things like that.
Yeah. And
But
it's hilarious to watch because they'll find a grasshopper or something in the summertime and go chasing it down and jumping at it like little pterodactyls. Um, uh, I'm always sad when they don't catch the grasshoppers, but
oh yeah, you don't
story for
like
another day.
grasshoppers.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I started just letting mine out in the evening because my thinking was at the time they were laying eggs and I really needed those eggs because I have customers. And so I didn't want to wonder where they were laying. I didn't want them laying outside the coop. So I found that if I just let them out in the evening, then they would have already laid all their eggs in the coop and they could enjoy their afternoon. So that was my thinking behind just letting them out in the evenings. But now they're not laying at all. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of mine are molting, so they're not laying, and some of them, I don't know. Maybe they're laying in the woods. They escape, lay an egg, and then come back in the evening time. Or it could be the light. We don't get a lot of light because of winter, and for some reason the time change, we're just, turning on the light in the evening time doesn't work out very well because, with work and stuff, you're not quite home in that
mm-hmm.
dark transition. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's I was doing some research because I'm not entirely sure why my chickens stopped because they stopped laying consistently before the time change even and it was still warm. They really didn't have any great reason to stop. So I did some research and it seems like people struggle with this when sometimes their chickens have worms even though they're not showing signs of being wormy, they're still acting normal. They can still have a worm or a parasite burden. Um, so my my goals for this week are going to be to catch them all and deworm them.
That's a good idea.
It helps, yeah.
Yeah.
And I might add like a vitamin supplement to their water as well. I have one that I do that with sometimes when they're just not doing quite well. So I'll do that and I'll try to keep you guys posted on whether it makes a difference or maybe it's just going into winter. But like I said, they stopped really before this weather and time change. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's going on with them.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give that a shot too. I've been meaning to deworm them for a while anyway,
Mm,
just because they are free range and we have groundhogs and all kinds of random stuff running around our yard.
yeah.
So they need that done. So that's a good goal to have for this week. I'll put it on the calendar. Uh,
Yep. And
I,
I won't get into like the different ways of deworming chickens because there seems to be different options. But if you guys, the viewers, have experience with this or deworming methods that you like best, feel free to comment
yeah.
and know because we're all learning here.
Hmm.
But yeah, it'd be an interesting discussion, I think, because there's different dewormers and different ways of
Yeah.
doing it. So
And a vast array of different philosophies on natural versus not natural. And
mhm.
I'm not sure which pendulum direction I will swing on that one for now. Um,
I always like to lean towards natural, but
yeah,
sometimes it's really hard if it's not effective, it really needs to be effective.
right.
So
Yeah, and I know that sometimes natural remedies will just take a lot longer and the necessity for being consistent. And I found that chickens are the least consistent animals on the planet. So like
Hmm.
they might eat the food one day. Mine like to drink out of puddles because they're free range. So I have this nice bucket of water for them. So if I was trying something in their water for a natural dewormer, they just wouldn't drink it. So
That's true.
there's a lot of kind
Yeah, it
of
depends on how much
things you have.
control you have of
Right.
your environment. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
those are some other things that I need to think about when choosing a method for deworming for sure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then I know we've talked about feed fermenting, and I have heard people talk about how it helps their chickens lay, and it's a great method for boosting nutrients and reducing feed bills. So I did try to give that a shot over the summer. Did not, was not a sustainable, non-functional. It did not work for multiple reasons.
Didn't
Mainly,
didn't it explode?
it did. It exploded in this room because it was in the basement and I was waiting, waiting. It wasn't fermenting because the temperature was too low down there. And
Mm.
then I brought it upstairs so that I could kind of move it along so I could feed it to the chickens. And the next morning it had exploded all over the room. Fortunately, the glass jar did not break, but the chicken feed was all over the brick. It was really hard to clean up. That was my first experience with, and I probably have a picture, maybe I'll throw that in the video. That was my first experience with fermented chicken feed, and it did not smell good.
Oh,
Um,
I bet. Yeah, I didn't even
I
think about
mean,
what it would
it's like
smell like.
sauerkraut all over your living room. Like, what?
Yeah.
Not not a bad smell, but if it's all over your living room, it's not great. So, um, yeah, so I did that a few times. The chickens weren't a huge fan. I wasn't a huge fan of doing it. I could never get proportions right, and it was just super frustrating. So I stopped. Um, but I started back again after reading some more articles. There is actually a lot of scientific research that a lot of universities have done on fermented chicken feed, and it does boost nutrients and it does boost egg production for most people's chickens, not mine. Um, but I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot again, but I'm not gonna do it for an everyday feed. I'm just gonna do it like 3 times a week
Okay, that's fair.
because it
Works.
takes about 2 to 3 days to ferment
Mhm.
in under my kitchen table. I just put it in a
Does it
bucket
have
and
to be sealed or can the lid be
it can
like
be
open?
loose, so it should be loose. You just have to make sure because it's an aerobic fermentation that the feed is covered with water.
Okay.
So I'm currently, and this is not a sponsored video, but I'm currently using Kalmbach Hen House Reserve, and it has a lot of like peas and stuff. So it does pretty well, and it stay instead of turning into like a mushy, goopy, nasty mess, it kind of stays a little bit more like feed. So they like that a little bit better.
Do you have to then feed it more in a trough style or can it still go in a traditional chicken feeder?
So I don't actually own a traditional chicken feeder, but I have dish pans.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so uh, um, I'm not sure how it happened, that transition. I had chick feeders when I got the chicks, and then I bought a rubber uh, feeder, like a small rubber bucket from the feed store.
Mhm.
That I would call it a horse feeder, but I don't know what they're actually called. Um, and I started feeding them in that. And then I just kind of eventually transitioned to these just cheap dish pans just
Mhm.
because the chickens, I don't know what their problem is. They won't eat out of the same bin. So because they won't eat out of the same bin, I have fighting over the bin. So I have three of them that I just kind of separate and then I throw some feed out in the front of the barn because broth gets chased out of the barn by Clark.
Oh,
And
I see.
so if he doesn't have feed outside, he doesn't get any food. So um
And
yeah, so I just use a
can you do the fermentation with just layer crumbles?
you
That does
can. That's what
okay.
I originally started with.
Okay.
And it worked fine. It fermented fine. It just turns kind of into like mud, basically a mud consistency. So it probably wouldn't work in a traditional feeder.
Could could you add in scratch to it? Like mix it
Yeah,
all together? Okay.
yeah. Pretty much, yeah. A lot. I think I've seen a lot of people also do like just grains, and they'll ferment grains and add that to the chicken feed. Um, so the Kalmbach has black oil sunflower seeds. It has split peas. It has some, I think it's soybeans, and it has the pellets, and then it has like some grains in there too, and that all ferments together, and it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the
I've
pellets
been
can break
hearing
apart a little
about,
bit.
yeah. Well, I've heard here and there that it's really good for your chickens and it just has so many benefits. So I've thought about trying it, but I haven't done any research on it at all yet. So it'd be
Yeah. So something that I had struggled with was I tried the jars, the half-gallon jars,
mm,
and they're just not big enough if you have more than like five chickens.
okay.
Um, so I went to my local grocery store and I asked for empty icing buckets. So I was
Oh,
like, I'm not gonna buy buckets to dump chicken feed in. I'm just gonna go use those. And they're supposedly food grade buckets. And so I just washed them out. They're free. They're the perfect size.
are
Um,
they how many gallons?
the smaller ones are 2 gallon,
Mm,
and then I have a 5 gallon one. You could use either. I think the bigger the better because as the food expands, so that was the problem I had was the jars, I'd fill the food and then I'd add water and the food would just like triple. It soaks up way more water than you think. And
okay.
then you can't cover it with water, and then you have no space in your jar, and then it's just a mess. So if
So over the days, do you have to keep adding water?
nope, I just I put my scoops in and then I cover it plus about 2 or 3 inches above it so that once it soaks up the water, there's still space in it. There's still water covering it, and I just stuff it under the table and leave it for a day or two and then check on it. And it's pretty easy. I put it through a strainer, get out the extra water, and then dump it in the dish pan. And
I
they,
have my old 5 gallon milking bucket with a lid and it's food grade from last season. I have a new one for this season. So that's perfect. Maybe I'll just use
yeah,
that to start and see.
yeah. And then if you're not actually feeding it every day, you just rinse the bucket out and then add new and then you wait. So you don't need multiple buckets or anything like that.
Okay.
Um,
Very cool.
but they like it pretty well. It hasn't boosted their egg production at all. But
Well, random side note about chicken nutrition. They really love kefir.
oh, yeah,
So,
fermented milk.
yeah. I
Nice.
haven't done it consistently. They usually just get it maybe once every 6 months as a treat if I have extra. But I wonder if that would also help them maybe on a
Probably.
more routine basis.
Yeah. Good. Good probiotics and
Mhm.
extra vitamins. It's one
Yeah,
thing, fermented stuff usually boosts vitamins and it's just more digestible. So
right.
kefir is the same idea, which is really
Mhm.
cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my current chicken escapades. We've
Yep.
gone from free ranging to significantly reducing the feed bill to fermenting. It does definitely reduce the feed because it just expands so much with the water and they eat a little bit less, quite a bit
Mhm.
less probably. But yeah,
That'd
so
be great. Yeah. I got roped into chicken math a few months ago and I bought 25
oh,
more chickens. So I have I know, right? I have let's see, 14 plus 25. So that's a lot of
math.
chickens.
It's like 39. No, yeah, 39 chickens. That's a lot. A lot of chickens. I'm still
Yeah.
in the teens.
Well, it was because my older girls, which they're not old, they're going on 3 years, but they just stopped laying and I really need more eggs. So the new ones, they're 3 months old now, so I'm hoping in another 3 months, January, February, right in there, maybe they'll start. Although they might wait longer because it'll still be cold uh, in February.
Yeah, who knows? These chickens, man, they're unpredictable, but they're great fun, honestly.
They
I would
are.
keep them even if they never laid an egg.
Hmm.
Uh, Whatever you do, don't pick favorites and don't name them. We name
My
them, they
goodness.
disappear.
So yeah,
Oh,
if you're thinking about getting into chickens, do not name them and do not make them pets because my
don't
first
love them. You'll be
don't
heartbroken.
love them. Yeah, because it will rip your heart out.
Yeah.
Because like 3 years ago, I started with my first 5 chickens, and they all had names, and they were sweet, and they would come running up to me, and they always wanted me to scratch them and pick them up. Oh, and okay, here's another note. So you see, some people will clip their wings and put them in an enclosure so that they can run around and be on the grass and eat bugs, but they can't fly over the fence and get out. So I thought, man, that's a great idea. That way my girls can be outside during the day. They won't escape and be eaten by something. They'll be safe. Well, if you're going to do that, you have to be very sure that whatever enclosure they're in, nothing can get in there with them because I had mine, I clipped their wings and I put them in a 4 foot fence during the day, and then they were in a coop at night. And this huge stray dog came by one day, jumped clear over the fence without even touching it, and had them all massacred in about 1.5 minutes. It was awful.
I remember that. You were devastated.
I cried and cried and cried for weeks. So just if you guys are thinking about getting into chickens, really try not to get attached because everything wants to eat them, and no matter how safe you try to be and how much you try to protect them, it's just so easy for them to die in some horrible manner.
And even if they're not attacked by something and they're bloody when you find them, they just die
Yeah.
for no apparent reason.
Mhm.
Yeah, either
And they
build
don't
them Fort
live
Knox.
long even if they stay healthy. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, they're great fun, and we always pick favorites every single batch we get, and that's the first one to go. So far, the ones that we have lost have always been the ones that we're like, this is our favorite. We love this one, and we want to make it a pet, and then it disappears, and we hope it didn't suffer. That's all we can do, and it's unfortunate,
yep.
but yeah, and we just we just enjoy them all and have decided that we're not going to pick favorites and we're going to despise every one of them in hopes that that will help them last longer. We treat them all the same and we like none of them. Uh, no, just kidding. But
It is inevitable though, because even with my batch now, I purposely told myself, do not learn their personalities, do not get attached, but you do. You learn their
yeah,
personalities. They're all
and
different.
it's
And
so hard not to when you go outside and they just come flying up in a massive group and run after you, like, give me treats, we love you. And then, yeah, they're just stupid cute.
so if you do fall in love with your chickens, we understand, and we do too, but it
But
can't
you
make.
will cry
Mm-hmm.
and you will be devastated because that's what chickens do to you.
Yep.
Um,
Still worth having though.
absolutely, 100%. And the chicken math will get you. You will buy four because you only eat 4 eggs a day, or you will buy 10, and then
Mm-hmm.
you will end up with 50. I
Yep.
know it's going to happen to me. I'm almost there. I'm like halfway.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm still in the teens, but we have plans.
Yep.
But my tea is gone.
Yep.
So
Mine too.
it's been a great session.
Yep.
Hopefully, people have learned a little bit about what not to do with chickens
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a couple of things that will help them what to do. And it's been fun hearing about your chickens.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and you guys watching, if you have chickens or you want to know about chickens, just comment or ask questions or yeah, like
yep,
always.
and we will do some shorter videos about our chicken stuff in
Mhm.
the future. So, Roth says like and subscribe.
Yep. We'll see you guys next time.